Yeah, boy. Yeah, it's where we go hard. 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 Yeah. Welcome to that country of that white and blue and blue and yellow. But copy what it do. Got the live sea, the Galilee, and the Jordan River too. You may watch us on the news, but you ain't got a clue. When I hit the USA, they ask me, do we ride on camels? They think we live in the tents and we walking around in sandals. Pause. Let's make famo a channel from the land of milk and honey. Let's see how much you can handle. Let's go. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. But only in God we trust. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. But you can't go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go, 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 go. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go. Go, go. One time for my RC, two times for my eagle, three times for my Udine, four times for my Hebrew. Wanna know what we eat? Wanna know about our food? Hummus and pizza. Shout out to my food. ISRAEL, where I dwell. My home, my town, my crown, my shell. Ain't no other place inside this world that gets down like us. Welcome to the Holy Land, the only land that's righteous. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. But only in God we trust. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. But you can't go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go, 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 go. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go, go, go. Israel, 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 Israel. We go, we go, we go, we go, Israel, 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 Israel. We go, we go, we go, it's where we go hard. 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 But you can't go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go, 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 go. It's where we go hard. It's where we go hard. It's where we go, go, go hard.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. It's a rainy one where I am right now, but we praise the Most High for His rain, because we know, especially when you want to get out and start, growing your own food and stuff, we know rain is very, very important. So this lesson is rebellion from order. Rebellion from order. Actually, a brother of mine really called me up and kind of gave me this, this word, at least some of it, and we were just talking about, we're talking about. He was talking about, the spirit of the ball. People not wanting to respect authority, respecting order. Respecting order and authority. And I think one of the biggest downfalls for Israel, is we as a people, we have divorced ourselves from order and authority. We divorced ourselves from that. We realize that the scripture says that every man has gone his own way and every man does what's right in his own eyes and things like that. We have this big part of this awakening, it's a beautiful thing to have this awakening that people are waking up and understanding their identity and understanding their history and things starting to make a lot more sense. And the Most High is starting to reveal certain things to us. We're having, you know, certain revelations and certain truths are coming into our hearts. And so we're starting to change the narrative, right? If you will. We're starting to change that narrative. And we don't have to listen to other people. We can do our own research and find out about ourselves, as far as our history and everything's concerned. So that has to do with this grand awakening. But with that, we have this influx of individualites. We have people who everyone's just on their own. We can never gather together as a people, as a whole. We scarcely gather together. Why? Because there's mistrust and there's just not this heart of hospitality. I have a lesson. Look at a library and it says Torah hospitality or something like that. Just type in hospitality. I have a whole lesson on that where it was just simply a part of our culture, one of the things that we were supposed to do as a nation, but many of us, we just don't do it. We don't do it. But to a large degree, our downfall has to do with our divorce from order and our divorce from authority. Sure, there were times where we wanted order and authority. There were times where we asked, the prophet Samuel, give us a king. Everybody else has a king, we want a king. So we think we want, some authority. But we also know at the same time we had when other kings came about. It's like, okay, we don't have nothing to do with David. We're not going to listen to David. Things like that. We rebel. Moses being one of our first leaders of us as a nation. You have Korah and those people who try to rebel against Moses. People, we as a people, we do it all the time, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we do it all the time. We rebel from the order of things. And the interesting thing is, we're doing this, and at the end, the Most High is going to come and establish and reestablish order. He'll have order. Everyone's going to get set up. Everything's going to be exactly how He wants it to be, and there shall be order. So, with that, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm glad you guys made it on this program. I'm going to throw some scriptures out at you guys. I hope you guys follow along. And I just want to talk, just look at the rebellion of order. I want to show you through the scripture that there was always like an order, a hierarchy. There's an order of authority throughout the scripture. There's always these people who come into, our lives, and there is a purpose for these people. And we forget this. We're supposed to have teachers and elders and captains and and pastors, and we're supposed to have all these things, but we have many people who speak against that. So we'll see. Some people just don't have respect for that. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to jump in. I mentioned Moses and the 70 elders, so let's go ahead. Numbers, right? Let's go to Numbers 11. Numbers 11, and I'm going to do, let's see, Numbers 11, let's do 16 through 30. Numbers 11, 16 through 30. And let's see here. Let's look at this real quick. Because and I have a lot of scriptures. I doubt I'll be able to get to all of them today. But I'm going to do what I can. Let's see here. Number 11, 16 through 30. All right, so 16, it reads, and it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be the elders of the people and the officers over them, and bring them under the tabernacle and of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee. Now look at this. You already have an establishment of leadership, right? So you already have established there. You already have Moses, who's head all of them. Then you have 70. You have 70 of them that that's elders of the people and officers over them that have some kind of authority. People listen to these people, right? 17. And I will come down and talk with thee there, and I will take of the spirit which is upon thee, and put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bear it not thyself alone, so that you don't have to bear all this whole responsibility of teaching everyone, okay, and ministering and shepherding everyone, right? 18, and say thou unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and ye shall eat flesh. For ye have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and ye shall eat. Okay, so now y'all talking a little crazy. Ye shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it come out of your nostrils. Oh, you're hungry. Oh, you want to eat. You're not satisfied. This is what the Lord, is saying. So you're not satisfied until it's coming out your nostril, and it'll be loathsome until you're gonna get sick of it. You're gonna eat so much you're gonna get sick of it, because that thou hast despised the Lord which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Egypt? Because we get out there and we start whining and moaning. And Moses said that the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and thou hast said, I will give them flesh, that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks and herds be slain for them to suffice them, or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? And the Lord said unto Moses, is the Lord's hands waxed short? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. And Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in a cloud, and spake unto him, and took of the spirit that was upon him, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, and did not cease. Do we understand what is going on? Okay. So let's see if I won't get any more of that. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so we have that. We have that. I didn't want to go. I didn't necessarily need to go to Moses, but I'm just wanting to read to you guys the 70 elders, that the order was established. Now, obviously, we were talking about Israel whining about eating or whatever, and then the Lord said, hey, you're gonna eat for a whole month, and you're gonna eat so much of it, it's gonna come out of your nose. You're gonna be sick of it. Okay, you're gonna eat. But again, we have Moses, we have the 70 elders, officers over the people, right? So that's okay. So I'm just saying, I'm right now. Well, you know what I'm preaching about? I'm preaching about order, right? Order and authority that we sorely lack for the most part. We sorely lack that. Some people have some authority there. You have some of these other camps that do have officers and captains and things like that. Obviously, we're going to see that that is biblical. You have some where you have some camps where you have a pastor, a senior pastor, or a pastor, elder, or shepherd, or something like that. And then you have people who fall in line, and then they appoint different people at different levels with different responsibilities, as it should be. As it should be, guys. It really should, as it should be. But there's so many people who don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. We'll read some more. We will read some more. 26. But there will remain two of the men in the camp, and the name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other is Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were written, but went not out unto the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man and told Moses, and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Moses, okay, one of his young men answered and said, my lord Moses, forbid them. Okay, and Moses said unto them, enviest thou for my sake? Would God that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit upon them. And Moses gat him into the camp, and he and the elders of Israel. So he just like, look, the guy, of course, authority and all that. He's come back out, and he's saying, hey, Eldad and Medad, they're out there prophesying or whatever. And of course, Moses is like, what are you jealous? You jealous for me? You did it for me. He said, I wish all the people of God were prophets. Let them prophesy. Let them do what they had to do. And he sat there with the elders, and they continued. Okay, because Moses was a humble guy. He was a leader of Israel, but he was a humble guy. He said, no, let them prophesy. Let them do what they're gonna do. And then like this there, Joshua, the servant of Moses. See, again, you have servants. We have this Western idea, this Western concept of what leadership and things how things should look like. We're too used to the Roman Christianity construct of there's a pastor, and there's an associate pastor, and or assistant pastor, and then there's a couple of deacons here and there, and ushers, and they're coming and passing plates and all. We're too used to all that. That's the problem. We're used to all that. That's not really leadership. That's kind of we know a lot of the church, they run like businesses, pretty much. Okay, for the most part, a lot of people, are volunteers and all that. That's fine, but we gotta get back to word. We gotta get back to the word and what this really is, what it's really about. But you notice a lot of people don't have respect for authority. You're also going to pick that up. Not that many people have respect for authority. So we're going to get back into some of these concepts here, but let's look at some of these, some more of them at Numbers 31. Numbers 31, and starting at verse 13. So we're going to go Numbers 31, 13 and 14, and then skip down to 48 to 54. Okay. Look at some of these concepts here. So Numbers 31, I'm going to start at 13. Okay. All right, so 13 and 14, it says, "And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp, on outside the camp," right? So you're talking about, it said, "And all the princes of the," see, these people have rank too. So Moses, Eleazar, and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. Okay, and then 14. "And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds, and which came from the battle." Now look at captains. Are we starting to get it? There's some order, there's some authority there. And I said I was going to drop down to 48. Okay, let's take a look at that. 48. It says, "And the officers which were over thousands of the hosts, and the captains of thousands, and the captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses." Are we getting it? "And they said unto Moses, Thy servants have taken the sum of the men of war which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man of us." Okay, under our charge. "We have therefore brought in oblation for the Lord what every man has gotten of jewels of gold, chains and bracelets and rings, earrings and tablets, to make an atonement for our sins before the Lord. And Moses and Eleazar the priests took the gold of them, even all wrought jewels." So apparently jewels are not bad. "And all the gold of the offering that they offered up to the Lord, and the captains of thousands and the captains of hundreds, and was 16,750 shekels." Wow. "For the men of war had taken spoil, every man for himself." So they taken spoil, taking some of the bounty. "And Moses and Eleazar and the priests took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tabernacle of the congregation for a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord." Okay, so we're looking at all their authority. Okay, I went all the way to 48 to 54. All the authority. Okay, all that authority right there. So I'm just looking at, there's captains, and elders and priests. You have all these people that have positions. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with authority and structure and order. There's nothing wrong with it. So we've seen elders, we've seen captains. We're going to see captains one more time. Go to 2 Samuel 18, 1 through 5. Let's try that first. 2 Samuel 18, 1 through 5. Look at captains again. 2 Samuel chapter 18. One through 5. "And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day, and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant, because he loved him as his own soul." Okay, I want to make sure. 2 Samuel 18. Okay, and 4. "And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him, and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. And David went out whithersoever Saul sent him and behaved himself wisely, and Saul set him over the men of the war, and he was accepted in the sight of all people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. So he put David, put him in charge over the men of war, right? So he just put him in charge. So Saul made David right there pretty much a general, captain, a general in his army, in charge of all those people, all the men of war, setting up authority. Okay, so he's setting up authority, but we're, you know what? But not everybody respects authority. We see where David's all set up and everything, and even as he's coming to power, I mean he deserved to have some respect, right? We see that, but he did not. But everyone does not respect authority. There's a lot of individual lights out there that they just want to do their own thing and they have no respect for anything. Not any. You know what? Let's go to First Samuel. We're gonna go. We're in First Samuel. I'm supposed to go to. Okay, so we're in First Samuel, and I want to go to 25. Okay, let's go to First Samuel 25. Let's see, First Samuel 25, 8 through 10. Well, actually, you might as well say 8 through 25. Let's look at this. We're gonna look at Nabal real quick. No respect. Okay, so we see right here David is put in a position of authority, right? Captain over all the kings, all that. So let's take a look at this. So we're going to look at 1 Samuel 25, basically 8 to 25, right? Watch this. And thy young men, and they will show thee. Wherefore, let the young men find favor in thine eyes, for we come in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thy hand unto thy servants and to thy son David. And when David's young men came, they spake to Nabal according to all the words in the name of David, and ceased. Right. So they went to talk to Nabal and just like, we're just telling you what our master said. Basically, they want some provisions, right? They just, we took care of everything. We want some provisions. Look at how Nabal responds. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away from every man from his master. Everybody's on his own, bunch of individualites, right? And shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers and give it unto men who I know not whence they be? Like, I don't even know who you are. Am I going to take my food, my water, my meat? I'm just going to give that to somebody. I don't even know who you. I don't even know who you are. This is what he's saying. So David's young men returned their way and went again and came and told him all those sayings. And David said unto his men, gird ye on every man his sword. Trouble coming. And they girded on every man his sword, and David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, so to show some respect, and he railed on them. You understand what's going on? Just a little disrespect. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with them when we were in the field. So they were really nice to them. Everything was cool. And they were on the wall unto us both by night and day. They protected us basically. All the while we were with them keeping the sheep. Now therefore know and consider what thou wilt do, for evil is determined against our master and against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial that a man cannot speak to him, that he is hard-headed. You can't talk to this man. Mother of the house, Abigail, you know how your husband is. You know how he is. You can't talk to him. You just can't talk to him. You already know. He's about to get us all killed. And 18, then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses. And she said unto her servant, go on before me, behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal. And it was so, as she rode on the ass, that she came down by the covert of the hill, and behold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Now David had said, surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow hath in the wilderness. See, I did all this for nothing. I protected him and watched out for his people, watched out for his sheep, watched out for his land. I watched out for all this stuff. Me and my men didn't even have to ask me. And all I wanted was a little bit of food for my men. They're hungry, they're thirsty, and he want to come at me, he want to disrespect me like that. Mm. Uh, so and he said, pertain it unto him, and he has requited me evil for good. So, and 22, so and more also do God unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertain to him by the morning light, any that pisses against the wall. He said, I'm killing every male in that house. That's what he's saying. I'm killing every male in that house. It's just a little, it's um, they have certain sayings, in the Hebrew, basically. We have certain sayings. So, anyone that pisses against the wall, I just mean a man, right? And when Abigail saw David, she hastened and lighted off her ass until before David on her face, fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground. Look at that, respect. Look at that respect. Okay? And fell at his feet and said, upon me, my lord, upon me let this iniquity be, and let thy handmaid, again, handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thy audience, and hear the words of thy handmaid. Okay? So he said, just let me talk. Look at the respect we had, respect for authority, right? That she had anyway. Let not my lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal. For as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young man of my lord, who thou didst send. He said, I didn't see him. Look, my son, my husband. You gotta let him make it. You gotta let him make it. He is just, I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry. He's a butter muffin and a twat waffle. He don't know what he's doing. He about to get us all killed in here. Okay, he's about to get us all done in. I'm sorry. I didn't see your servants. I didn't know they were coming. I didn't know. But we're doing something now. Okay, we're doing something now. Please don't kill us. Don't slaughter up the whole house, because he came with 400 people. Okay, 400 people to kill one dude and every male in the house. All right, you gotta have respect for authority. And we just rebel against authority. We do. We don't care. We don't care as a people. We just rebel against authority. Let's keep going, okay? We cannot have in this instance the spirit of Nabal. And a lot of people have that spirit of Nabal. This spirit is what's gonna get us cut off. You see how Nabal was about to get cut off from the land of the living? And the people associated with him. Everybody in his house was about to get cut off from the land of the living. It's particularly the males. We're about to get cut off. Because have no respect, no honor, no respect for the authority. None of that. We're too tough. We're too what? Too tough. Let us continue. Let's continue. Okay, we're still talking about captains and whatnot. Go to 2 Samuel 18. Let me see. Let me see if I have that. I may have written that wrong, but let's go. 2 Samuel 18, 1 through 5. Still looking at some positions of authority. Still looking at it. 18, 1 through 5. And David numbered the people that were with him, and set captains of thousands and captains of hundreds over them. And David sent forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab, and a third part under the hand of Abishai and the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, and a third part under the hand of Ittai the Gittite. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you myself also. But the people answered, thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they will not care for us, neither if half of us die, will they care for us. But now thou were 10,000 of us, therefore now it is better that thou succor us out of the city. And the king said unto them, what seemeth you best I will do. And the king stood by the gate side, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Hettai, saying, deal gently for my sake with the young men, even with Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave all the captains charge concerning Absalom. A lot of captains, a lot of authority. Okay, a lot. I'm just saying there's a certain order of things, and we divorced ourselves from that. We don't want to do that anymore. We don't listen to anybody. We don't want to follow. We don't fall in line. We don't want to do any of that stuff. Okay, so I'm showing you there are captains. There are a couple of other things too. If you go to Exodus 21, I want verse 6 and I want verse 22. Exodus 21, verse 6 and verse 2. Okay, so let's go here. Join me, will you? Okay, so Exodus 21 and verse 6 says, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. Okay, let's see here. He shall also bring him to the door and unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with oil, and he shall serve him forever. So he's talking about having, a servant with you, right? So if I just back up, hold on, let's see here. Okay, because we have servants and things like that. It was normal to have a servant in the house. Okay, a lot of people say servant, slave, stuff like that. You gotta understand, there's many different forms of slavery, right? Having a servant, that's a form of slavery, but it doesn't have to be oppressive. Okay, it's having a job. You just have to live at your job, right? So if I just back up, okay, so I'm gonna go 1 through 6, and then drop down and give you also 22. So it says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. So you can have someone serve you for 6 years, and the 7th year he's out, he's free. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. So it doesn't matter. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. Now, if he was married, if he came in with a wife, she goes with him. Okay. If his master has given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. So, again, this authority, right? So, if you come by yourself, if you're a servant, you come into your master's house by yourself, you leave. Okay, in the 7th year, you leave by yourself. If you come in with a wife, you leave with your wife. If you come in, your master gives you a wife, then the children, she and the children, stay with him, the master, and you leave by yourself. Okay? And it says, and if the master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then we read verse 6. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. Judges. So there's another position right there. So you have a master, you have a judge. It's like, master is like a boss, right? Have a judge, and he shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, basically earring, and he shall serve him forever. So after that point, he shall not, he's not going to go free. He's just going to stay with his master for the rest of his days, for the rest of his life, right? So we're going to go all the way to 22. What does that say? And it said, if men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, and she didn't miscarry anything, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon him. Right. So according to whatever the husband want to do. So if we got a problem and you hurt my pregnant wife, we have an even bigger problem. We have an even bigger problem. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that right there. According as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. He shall pay as the judges again, authority, judges. What is this saying to us? Okay, there were judges. We have an entire book called Judges, right? According to pay as the judges determine, which means we had judges. Okay, so we're at Exodus. Go to Exodus 22. Start talking about judges now. We're talking about elders and captains. Now we're talking about judges. Okay, so let's deal a little bit with that. Exodus 22, 8 through 9. Exodus 22, 8 through 9. 8. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he have put his hands unto his neighbor's goods. See if he stole something, right? For all the manner of trespass, whether it be for an ox, for an ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challenge to be his. The cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. Judges, judges, judges. There is authority, there's order. Why? Because you have to, this is how you get justice. But will we listen? Will we listen? Judges. There's your authority right there. No, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. Because we want to think everyone's no good. Okay? Everyone's evil. Everyone's, you can't listen. You can't trust no one. Just me and the Most High. I'm just going to be on the Isle of Patmos and get my revelation for the Most High, and that's it. That's how we act. That's how we act sometimes. But he said he was going to give people like you guys. Come on. Okay, let me help you out. Jeremiah 3. You guys, and you already know the scripture, so just give Jeremiah 3:15. Let's just read that real quick. Jeremiah 3:15. Real simple. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. That's simple. I'm going to give you pastors. So there will be pastors. Not everybody's a crook. Not everybody's a thief. And now if anybody has followed this channel, you already know I come out against false prophets and preachers all the time. All the time. I got lessons on it. Whole lessons on it. I got 3-4 lessons on just about that. Just about wolves and sheep's clothing and false prophets. Men deceiving each other and stuff. But now I'm turning it on I'm going the other direction. There's another end of the spectrum too. There's good leadership. I have no problem with order and authority. And you should not either. Okay, let's continue. Ephesians 4. Let me get verse 7. And then I want 11 through 13. Ephesians 4, verse 7. Then 11 through 13. Let me get it. Okay, verse 7. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ. That's all of us, right? That's all of us. I teach because this is what he given me, right? This is the gift he given me. Other people are better at other things, okay? So, in verse 11. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. This is why we're here. And 13. Till we all come in the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. Okay, according to what we can do. Everyone has a place, everyone has a job, everyone has a function, has a talent, has a gift that he gives. It all comes from the same God. Everyone has that, and we need to operate in that. That's why he had all these different structures. He had judges, pastors, prophets, teachers, evangelists. He has all these things. Okay, he has all these. Captains, he has these things. But it's for us. It's how we get better. It's how we are sharpened. It's how we get promotion. Sometimes we just won't get it. 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, 28 and 9. 1 Corinthians 12, 28 and 9. 28 and 29. Verse 28. And God has set some in the church. First apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, and after that miracles and gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? And I guess I'll read the other ones too. Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? And I'm so glad he said that. Because no, we all don't have the same thing. We all don't speak with tongues. We all don't teach. Some people serve in other ways, in other capacities, and that is fine. That is order. That's how that goes. It is ordained by the Most High. So a lot of people out there sitting and being jealous of someone else because of what they do. Maybe that's not your calling. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe it's something. Maybe you should be doing something else. You should fall in line instead of being mad at the next brother or sister. Instead of just blowing up all sense of order. Period. No, I like that little part about not do we all speak in tongues? Not everybody's gonna be able to do that. Okay. Do we all interpret? No, not every. Are we all gonna teach? Are we all gonna work miracles? It's all different. This is about authority. This is about rulership. This is about getting in line. You don't go to the military and just skip through the ranks all willy nilly. Just yeah, now you know what you know what I'll be today. I think I'll be a colonel. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. I think I'll be a staff sergeant. Doesn't work like that. A general doesn't work like that. Exodus. Let's look at a little bit some Exodus 18. Look at some rulers. Exodus 18, 21 to 25. Exodus 18, 21 to 25. It says, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them. To what? To be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of 50, and rulers of tens. People with different ranks. It's like a centurion is a ruler over 100 soldiers. 22, and let them judge the people at all seasons, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. As I said before, are we understanding? Set these people in authority, give them some power. Any big matters is going to come to you. Okay, Moses. If the small matters, they can handle themselves. Totally ordained by the Most High. Are we starting to see this? Are we getting it? Totally ordained by the Most High. But we don't like authority. If thou shalt do this thing, and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure. You will be able to endure and put up with this. And all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law. I'm talking about his Jethro, his Moses' father-in-law Jethro. Sorry. And Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all of Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons, and hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. What is wrong? Thou shalt not judge. Thou shalt not judge. Does that sound like Torah to you? Thou shalt not judge? It's because people don't want any authority. They don't want any of that. This is going to be a two-parter. I have so many scriptures. I can tell you right now, it's going to end up being a two-parter, which is fine. So that thou shalt not judge stuff, get out of here. That's not Torah, okay? And then they don't even read it in context, okay? Thou shalt not judge, lest ye be judged. For the same way you mete out the judgment, it will be met back to you. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but the same way. Okay, so if you're unequal, unfair, you judging unfairly, you will be judged unfairly. Okay, same thing. That's what that is meant. Not you can't judge at all. Doesn't mean that. But I'm talking about Order of authority. And we have divorced ourselves from that. And we are just rebels. Okay? Just plain rebels. We rebel from order. I hope you guys are starting to see this. Okay, let's get a little bit more. Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 1, 7 through 13. Deuteronomy 1, starting at verse 7. Turn you and take your journey and go to the mount of the Amorites and unto all the places nigh thereunto, in the plain and the hills and the vale and in the south and by the seaside, to the land of the Canaanites and unto Lebanon, unto the great river, the rivers Euphrates. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them. And I spake unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. The Lord your God hath multiplied you, and behold, you are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude. It was a lot of them, right? The Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you, and he has promised you. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife? Take ye wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you, establishing order. Are you guys getting this? I will make them rulers over you, and you answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribe. Are we starting to get it? And officers among your tribe. Sorry, I said to 13, I went to 15. Gave you 2 more. What are we getting? Okay, so we got to have this order. We have to have a particular order when it comes to us being together, us assembling together. You got people, they want to go out and get on land. Maybe some of them start their own land. You better have some good leadership skills. Okay, some people may want to join to another man's land. You better be able to accept authority. You better be able to accept authority. Be able to humble yourselves. That's the only way you're going to be able to get. The only way you're going to be able to get anywhere. I mean, the Lord wants us to humble ourselves like little children when we come before Him like that. To enter into the kingdom, humble yourselves. Many of us can't do it, and it's going to cost us. And we rebel from this authority. Some of us do. We do that same little trick. We do the same trick. The men. We say to women, they do this. Well, I can't submit to my husband, blah, blah, blah. And we say, well, submit unto me like you submit unto Christ. And they say, well, you're not Christ. Well, the men kind of do that sometimes too, when they don't want to submit to no man. Oh, that's mad. I submit to the Most High. No, you're not slick. If you can't even follow protocol yourself, if you cannot submit yourself, if you can't find in some capacity, right? You got to find someone. If it's not one little individual, you better find like a trusted little council of men that iron sharpens iron, so we can get better. You got to be able to submit to that, so we can all keep ourselves in check. You have to submit to some sort of authority, even if it's not one individual man. Like a father figure or something like that. It better be some kind of something. Okay? A fellowship, a brethren, a council, something. Just to make sure I'm walking straight. I don't want to be able to go to, 4 or 5 brothers, or go to my elder and say, hey, I was thinking about this, or what do you think about that, or what, and if I'm wrong, hey, they can say, that's not right. You can't do that. That displeases the Most High, or something, right? But no, we fool ourselves. We're like, no, I'm not gonna submit to no man, or whatever. Do my own thing, or it's just me. These rugged individualites, and they say, well, I'll submit to my master Jesus. Yeshua, he's a man. Oh, The Most High set people in place. And over time, you get promotion. And over time, you may, ascend up in rank and all the other stuff. But who are you fooling? Who are you trying to fool? We rebel from order. Rugged individualites. That's what we have. Everybody's separate. Look around our society, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Look around what happens. You can go to different places throughout the country, right? You can go to different places. Let me hold on a second. You can go to different places throughout the country. I traveled a little bit, right? And you can see sections of town where these other cultures, they come together. There's like an Indian culture, they come together, they have all the shops, this is their little area, and they stick together and all that. And you have, China, what's called Chinatown, they stick together. What about us? What about us? We get stuck together, and it's, they call it, a ghetto, even though I know originally that's a Jewish term, but we get together, called the ghetto, and then we cannot come together. We can't trust each other. We gotta be violent towards each other. We gotta destroy one another. We gotta have the crabs in a bucket attitude. We have no order whatsoever. And we'll make all the other nations right. Period. How do you think they come up with statistics on different demographics, on what type of businesses to put here and there, and have maps in certain places to avoid? And it's crazy how much they know, because human behavior is predictive. And I don't mean to digress. I don't. What I'm saying is that we cannot be organized. That's what's setting up various authority. The captains over thousands and over hundreds and over 50s and over 10s. We don't have that. We just don't have it. We don't have it. We rebel. There's a few camps. There's a few organizations out there who they're making it work, and I salute them. They're making it work. Men are subjecting themselves to authority. The women are falling in line as well, and they're trying to do the work of the Most High, the work of the ministry. That's what they're trying to do, and I salute them for that. But so few of us can actually come together and actually build. It's so hard, and so few are doing it. Don't want to answer to anybody. Let's continue. I'm going to bring some of these back to you guys real quick. Matthew 19, 27 through 29. Matthew 19, 27 to 29. We can go back through some of these things here. Matthew, it's all about this rulership that nobody wants to really get into. So 19, 29, and 30. No, 20, let's see here, 27 to 29. Matthew 19, 27 to 29. And look at what he says here. He says, Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. And what shall we have therefore? So what are we going to do? We've given up everything to follow you. Talking about Jesus Christ. We gave up everything to follow you. So what are we going to get for this? What is the reward? And Jesus said unto them in 28, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Look at what you get. You see what I'm saying? This is what you get. This is what he said to the apostles. I'm sorry, let me get more specific. This is what he said to the apostles. Okay, this is how he answered Peter. In 29, and everyone that have forsaken houses, this is everyone else. This is the rest of us, right? This is the rest of us. And everyone that has forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. Do you understand? So there's a great reward for walking this walk, getting in authority, and guess authority is one of the rewards besides everlasting life. Now I know not everyone has the ambition to be in charge of other people and all that. I'm just saying that is one of the rewards. Does that mean everyone's going to be a captain and a ruler? No, it doesn't mean that, because then you don't have anybody to rule. Okay, you have anyone to rule. Okay, so let me go ahead and take a look at what some of you guys are saying. I appreciate you guys joining me. So let me go into this real quick and take a look. Right, let me say hi to all you guys. Okay, need guidance? How are you? Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Daniel Williams. Shabbat shalom, brother Daniel. Shabbat shalom. Sherry Peterson. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Sherry Peterson. Shabbat shalom. Lisi. She is the one who is putting up the scriptures for you guys in case I go a little bit too fast. Shabbat shalom. Trevor Deba. Shabbat shalom. Terry Herner. It looks like a Herner. Yeah, Terry Herner. Shabbat shalom. Let's see here. Lucky Ogamizi. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Lucky. Noe Ben Yasharal. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Anonymous Hebrew. Shabbat shalom, brother. How's it going? Anonymous Hebrew. How you doing? Shabbat shalom. Okay, Lisi's back in there. Sanji Pei. Shabbat shalom, family. How are you doing, Sanji? Sister Sanji. Let's see here. Yep, we certainly should become, like little children. Okay, definitely. Hallelujah. Daniel Williams said our culture and history has been stripped from us because we rebelled against the Most High. Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. We just can't. I mean, we can, but we got to humble ourselves. The question is, are we going to humble ourselves? That's really the bottom line. That's the question. But this is really just part one of this whole study. And we're talking about rulers and stuff like that. I'm going to come back. I'm going to have get back into Deuteronomy and Luke and Revelation. Then I'm talking about the order in the home. I'm going to put all that together. So this is part one of Rebellion from Order. And join me next week for part two of this, okay? Thank you. Headed to a rural area. Yeah, absolutely. But I appreciate you guys. Again, like, share, subscribe. I want you guys to hit that notification bell. I do this every Shabbat. Put together some lesson for you guys in hopes that you are edified. I really do. I really do it because I want you to be edified. Okay. Man, it's beautiful. It's raining outside right now. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's kind of a beautiful thing. Perfect on the Shabbat. We're not doing anything, right? So we got to do that. Thank you, sister. Special shout out and thanks, Sister Lisi, for putting those scriptures up there. Following me. Thank you, Sherry Patterson. Appreciate that, really do. And again, I appreciate you guys hanging in there every week, coming in every week, get a little word. I want you guys to be able to take the word, meditate on it, share with your friends, pray to the Most High. It is the Shabbat. I want you guys to rest. I want you guys to pray, make your petitions known. Okay, I really do. We are in some very, really rough, trying times. Okay, and I think if we keep our heart inclined to His word and into the prompting of the Holy Spirit, He will see us through this. Okay, we will get through this if you take heed. Okay, all you have to do is take heed. I don't want you guys to get fearful. I want you to get faithful. I don't want you guys to panic. I want you to prepare. Okay, so with that, I hope someone has been edified. I'm gonna talk to you guys on the next one. Search the scriptures and prove all things.